Ready?
Yes,
You're at
peer writer's almost ready.
We're all waiting on you.
We're gonna call the meeting to order. Just minutes, right? Okay. He is going to listen. He doesn't know if it is reception. We'll be able to allow him to vote, but he'll do his best. So, we're gonna call the meeting to order at 6:03 p.m. and the first agenda item is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, one here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Second agenda item is correspondence, visitors, and public comments. We don't have anybody online, and we have our children doing presentations, so we're good on that. Agenda review, I don't have anything.
Well, I do. If it's all right, at this point in the agenda, I'd like to thank you. So is that okay?
Great.
All right. So this is Jen Chevalier's last board meeting with us. And I wanted to thank you profusely for your 6 years on the board. Since we merged, you joined the transition board and helped us become a new district. And I have just been so grateful for your dedication to kids first, always. And then our leadership and our teachers, and you've shown that through negotiations and your support of me personally as well, through tough times and easy times, and it's just been a pleasure, and I will miss working alongside you. And we have some flowers, and we have a plaque for you to hang in your home to commemorate your service to our community.
For you.
And that's as much as I will do.
Thank you. Thank you.
You move, Luther.
Thank you. I have definitely enjoyed my time on the board. I'm sad, but I think the board has really come together quite well. Very good board members, very supportive board members. Anytime I needed somebody to talk to, you guys have been available. So I really appreciate that and your support as well. So I'll be checking in on some board meetings. I made a promise to somebody I would do that. Thank you. Next agenda item is approval of the minutes from February 4th, 2025. Would be the first one. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Elaine. And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Stephanie. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Rennick. Motion carries 9-0. The next approval for the minutes would be the February 11th, 2025.
I'll move that.
Thank you, Dawn.
I'll second.
Thank you, Megan. Questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I will abstain, so the motion will carry 8-0-1. And next up, we have administrative reports, and we'll start with you, Joyce.
Okay, well, we're gonna miss you, Jen. Thank you for everything. So, highlights. I'm gonna keep this short. You've got kids there waiting. So, a few quick things. Our ARC training in January, I thought that was a real highlight because teachers were able to choose what they needed for that session. And it's just really great to be able to customize that. I think that's really what's helping make it that so effective. So that was a highlight. February 7th, that half day, being able to continue the data analysis that we started on the in-service day in January. Just really exciting to see all the progress that kids are making. And we were also able to have in that 3 hours, chock full, be able to do the information on this year's statewide testing and go over those manuals, do the proctor training, the test administrator training. And it's so nice, the state has finally publicly released the results from last year. So we can actually celebrate with our kids. And we're going to do that to kick off this year's testing and celebrate that again this year. They scored above the state average in all 3 content areas. And so we're going to celebrate that to kick off testing for this year. And last but definitely not least, really excited that we have our long-term sub for the remainder of the year for our 2nd grade position. Nancy Jewett, long-term teacher, long time, and many years in Franklin Northeast, and she's done a couple of maternity leaves for us, and she is going to join our team one more time to help us out. So we're super excited about that. And I'm going to see you all in March in Franklin, and I'm hoping we have less snow then because I can't even see out my windows anymore. There's so much snow. Any questions?
I was going to congratulate you for handling a challenging situation, but you beat me to it. That's really great that you can come up with 2 qualified teachers in a situation like that.
Well, I'll tell you, I think I've got a guardian angel or something because in these hiring days, yeah, we feel really good about it. And I think they wanted to help out their hometown, that's for sure. And we can't thank Karina enough for all that she has done to help us out. And she will continue for a little while after vacation to help us with the transition. And of course, Heather and Bree will be helping with that transition also. So yeah, feel extremely, extremely grateful that we were able to find somebody.
Anybody else? Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
And Yeshua?
Great, thank you. Of course, Jen, I also want to thank you so much for all of your support because you have been here the entire time that I have been at Highgate. I certainly know if you were a person I needed to reach out to for anything, you would have been there. You were at so many different Highgate events, of course, there as a board member and as a grandmother. And I know you'll stick around at Highgate and support it continued for a very long time. So I do just want to thank you so much for all of your support while I've been, the proud principal here at Highgate. To think about the report itself, very similar to Joyce, we had a great data day to really look at where we are. We've noticed some great progress within our reading, which was really nice through Star 360. Because of the snow day yesterday, we weren't able to look at our school-wide data trends yet through our school leadership team because that was actually scheduled for after school. So we're going to make that up because that's really time where we make some goals really as the whole school that we will look at to continue to make improvements on our data. But it was wonderful to come together and be able to do that work. We also were very lucky to have Joelle back with us for one day, really a half day in the afternoon, I believe, after she went to Swanton. It was wonderful because this time we asked her to look at just a variety of classrooms and say, what did you notice is going really well? What did you notice about the environment? What did you notice about instruction? What did you notice about executive functioning skills? And then she just presented to staff and just got to highlight, hey, I saw this in this first grade classroom. Well done. Talk about that as a staff. What'd you notice? How could you recreate it? So it was nice, instead of necessarily looking at the deficit lens and saying, how can we do better? It was more like, hey, what's going great that she can just notice and we can talk about as a staff. Because this stretch is a long one, and the 2 feet of snow is not always helping our feeling this time of year with winter. So we just felt like that'd be a great way to just celebrate the great things that are happening. We just, I think very similar to Joyce, same kind of things going on at school. So I can't really think of anything else, although I thought of one more thing that I feel like I'm now forgetting. Oh, we actually, someone recently announced another pregnancy at Highgate. So again, I think this is number 7 for us for this school year. It of course will not impact us right now. They're due in August, but I just thought it was, ironic that here we are celebrating more Highgate Hawk babies that seem to be, happening. And I did just get to see JR share with me our promotional video around the budget, which was really great. And that should be out soon for Highgate. So JR did a wonderful job with that. And I can't wait for everybody to see it. But unless anybody, or does anybody have any questions for me and Highgate?
I have a question. At the end of your report where you mentioned facilities, I wasn't clear. He says there are always a variety of topics, but for this month, it's been around communications and a clearing up some carryover from service. Is carryover money?
No, I think what I actually was referring to, I probably should have cleaned up that language. It was more, I actually meant literally just some projects that we were working on. Because we've had some custodians that have been out for a little bit due to like sickness and other things. And Pat, who joined us a few months ago, has been absolutely fantastic. And he has come on now full time. And he actually been doing a lot of work we've been hoping to kind of get done. And actually to keep speaking Pat's praises, if you just happen to go to Highgate, it is very well maintained right now, snow-wise, with really exciting snowbanks for kids to be tempted by. But he's done just a phenomenal job. I think when I saw him today, I mean, it's collectively like 12 hours. He's just been outside moving snow around. But sorry, so a really great time to shout out to Pat, too. He's been doing a phenomenal job at Highgate.
Good. And I like your summary of your faculty meetings. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Anybody else? All right. Chris?
Actually, Jess is going to present tonight.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that awesome? I would definitely echo what Yeshua and what Joyce said around the day-to-day. It is so nice to be able to get together and have that time to look at data, academic data, SEL data, attendance data, behavior data. There's so much, and we're inundated with data, that it's really nice to be able to sit down and really look at that as grade level teams, and then in Swanton we move teachers around and set up a vertical teaming aspect to that day, where teachers can talk from kindergarten to 6th grade about those academic, any of those areas, some of the growth, some of the needs for improvement, and everybody just feels like we get so much done in that small amount of time. It's really wonderful. And as Joyce mentioned, it was nice to be able to have that January time to start that work, and then to have the half day in February to finish it, because there is so much to look at. ARC is going so well. Like, I hear parents talk about just how much their kids can read, and we're in the Babcock building a lot. And so in some of those parent meetings, they're just blown away by how, not even with the letters that their kids know, but how many words they have when they're reading books, which is so exciting. And the math, keep doing really, really great work around the math Imagine Learning program too. So that's awesome. And then we had World Read Aloud Day. That was awesome. Very, very wonderful opportunity for everybody to stop and drop and do a little bit of reading with their classes. Chris had 2 videos, so teachers had the choice to either read to their class or show one of the two videos. So lots of great things happening in Swanton.
I have a question.
Megan.
I was wondering if you could give an overview of the EST reset and what it means. Also, if it's exclusive to Swanton and why.
Want to talk about that?
Sure. Yep. So it is not exclusive to Swanton in the sense that MVSD has a multi-tiered system of support oversight group that functions at the district level. And so with that regard, the educational support team is part of everybody's multi-tiered system of support in the district. So there is that district level oversight. At Swanton, it's been quite a while since we've really taken a close look at that system. There's been a lot of staff turnover. We have a lot of new staff members that may not have a really deep understanding of the purpose of EST, what it's all about, what it's for, what they need to do kind of leading up to making an EST referral, understanding that classroom teachers really are responsible for not only high quality first instruction, but also providing targeted instruction, and how do they do that in their classroom as part of their daily routines prior to referring a student to the educational support team. So the goal really of the EST is to bring a highly skilled group of educators together to brainstorm when a student is struggling, what are all of the things that we can do to help support that student and to create a plan. And sometimes that includes strategies that happen in the classroom, sometimes it includes intervention that might happen outside the classroom. But our goal for doing the reset really is to bring everybody onto the same playing field of understanding with the system, and to make sure that we're just doing as best as we can for every single learner. Can everybody access this system, whether you are, regardless of the grade you're in, whether or not you have an individualized education plan, whatever your own situation is. We want to make sure that teachers understand. We want to make sure that we're engaging parents in that process. That's a piece that we've identified that's been missing, and we want to work really hard on that. So it's about making it more transparent, making it more cohesive, and really helping our staff understand how to access those resources.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate the continuous improvement leadership update. Thought that was interesting. And I had to look twice to make sure that wasn't a young Babe Ruth there with that baseball uniform reading, but that was a really neat idea. I commend you for doing that.
It was a lot of fun, and a huge thanks to J.R. Cox, who helped with the green screen and making that all come together.
Yeah, I watched first graders were watching you be a dinosaur explorer. It was hysterical. It was great.
The great thing is the younger you go with the students, the less they really understand the technology, of course. So to anyone over in Babcock, you've been on television. So that's a big deal.
Great.
I have one more, it's more of a general question than directed toward, directed toward Swanton, but it was in the report. Act 139, why is it just K through 3?
That's the law. So the law, and they're actually putting forth an update to the law in this legislative session, which I'll be talking about with the Vermont Literacy Advisor Council. We're meeting tomorrow, right before student success. The law was about students up through 3rd grade. So that the focus, as we know in literacy, is having kids be able to read by the end of 3rd grade.
Yep.
So that was the extent of the law.
Okay, all right.
It does not mean for us in our practice that we don't intervene and we don't communicate with families and have plans for students, but in terms of the strict adherence, in terms of notification, et cetera, that's through K through 3.
Okay, thank you.
Next agenda item will be presentations and discussion, which will be the 6th grade science presentation.
Yeah, we have. Thank you, administrators. And I believe we have Christine DePady behind us somewhere, ready to take you through something.
I was asked to share with you guys some of the stuff that we've been doing throughout the year in 6th grade. These guys volunteered to come and spend more time with me, so that was kind of nice. One of the things that over the last few years, I don't teach science, I teach STEM. and very purposeful, and the kids have to hold me accountable for that. So we make sure we have engineering, we have math, and we have obviously technology. And it's real world, so that's a really big deal for us. We've got a few things set up for you guys to take a look at, where we've made connections. We've got some connections to the ARC program. They spent a lot of time, the 6th grade did studying plate tectonics, and so we had thermal energy, and so we adjusted the science curriculum. What we did in the past, kept the same standards and adjusted it in a way so that we didn't have so much of plate tectonics, but it gave them an opportunity to see what the thermal energy connected to it, and so they have a whole thing about that. We did weather as well, so there's a demonstration that we had done with that. And then our newest one is the chemistry of baking. So when we start a unit where we start off with them exploring about it, then we get some information, and then they have to apply it to a real world situation. So they are now studying how the process and ingredients of making cinnamon rolls involves chemical reactions. And so they're doing the hard work, and then I'll make them some cinnamon rolls. So, and the entire 6th grade's doing this. So these guys, there's 3 of them, but the entire 6th grade is all participating in the same thing. So we have our ingredients that we've had. They've got slides set up, and they'll explain anything you need to know. They're the experts on it, and they're super excited to share what they've been doing. So we invite you to come and try out some 6th grade science.
Do you want us all to go to one at a time?
Nope, you can go wherever you want, because that's literally how my classroom is. So just, just find a spot, jump in, and then we'll get you to move around, and we'll kind of fill you in on what the things were. So it'll be pretty informal. All right? And just whenever you need to stop. So in the middle, we've got some iPads set up with 2 different stations.
Water and sugar with it and look at it once you wake it up. Oh, wow.
With a mixture like milk, it's homogeneous because you can't tell the difference between you can see the subduction zones, and you can see color.
That's very cool.
Remember what you have to feed it?
Pretty sure it was water.
And what does everybody love? One of your ingredients.
Sugar.
Sugar.
So, we can weather, and then we showed how the radiation conducts heat with, as you can see, the spinner spins when the heat rises. Yeah, the heat rises.
So I'd love for your hosts to just take a quick second and introduce themselves and maybe tell you their one favorite science fact from what they've just shown you. Michael, do you want to start?
Sure. Hi, my name is Michael. I've been very interested in science, especially learning with Miss DePady, because she gives us more visual ways of looking at it rather than just looking at a worksheet or an image. And my favorite science fact that I've learned is that yeast is actually a single cell organism. So for example, when you make your cinnamon rolls or your bread, if you add your warm water and your sugar, that actually wakes up your yeast and causes it to rise.
Hi, I'm June, but I don't really have a good science fact to share, or something I can think of. But I can say that Miss DePady is such a great teacher. She gives us a lot of examples that are fun in all ways. That's it.
My name is Abby, and One of my favorite things is about science is what Michael said with the yeast that he learned. And then I also love that we get to look under the microscopes because you can see all the differences between things. And it's super cool. Plus, Mrs. DePady is a great science teacher, like June said, because she actually will let us look back at some of our previous work. And we've heard about her getting notes from or emails from students that she's had in the past, thanking her for letting them always like look back at their work they've had previously.
Thank you.
Really nice job. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, yes.
Very nice.
Have a great day.
Great job.
Thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you.
What a great group of kids.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Exactly.
Oh, so you went on my page.
All right, we are going to circle back around to number 3, correspondence, visitors, and comments. Ty is here, and he would like to speak.
Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome.
Ty Sonia from Highgate. First off, my heartfelt condolences to the family of the young girl in St. Albans. And that's kind of why I'm here today. I think we've spent a lot of money as a district on making sure nobody from the outside harms our children. I think as a board, we need to start an initiative for mental health and suicide prevention. I think some IT work and some videos, letting people know at the board level that you're here for them. Yes, there's policies in place that which ways to go first, but I'll come right out and say it. If you don't feel like you have anybody to talk to, come talk to me. I'll be an advocate for any child in this school district or others. If you can't get hold of me, go to the Highgate Arena and tell them you need to get hold of me, and they'll find a way to get hold of you. And I think everybody else at this table feels the same way, just on camera. I did walk MVU today because I thought the meeting was here, there, I mean. And I didn't see any mental health flyers anywhere between main building, the main desk and the library. And I didn't see any here either, including the school psychologist's door. 988 is the number. Text it, email, website. You matter. That's all I got. There's way more that we could talk about, but I think that's enough for tonight.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you, Ty.
Yep.
Jen, could I very quickly mention a piece of work that we're doing that's related to this?
Please.
So one of the pieces of work that our continuous improvement leadership team is working on right now is making sure that every single student in our building has identified a trusted adult that they're able to talk with if they're feeling like they need to have that type of a conversation or any type of a conversation. And so we have actually surveyed every single student in our building, both of our buildings, and asked them to identify a trusted adult. And for those students that answered no, and there were a few that said that they were not, and there are a variety of reasons why they would say that. We know that some students might not have understood the questions, so there's a lot of reasons for that. But for any student who responded no to that question, we are following up with that student individually to make sure that they have that connection. We know that students being able to identify a trusted adult is really, really important for them. So that just came to mind as you were speaking, and that's a really important piece of work that our leadership team is doing right now.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Sorry.
No, thank you, I appreciate you coming. Next agenda item is business office for action. First one is the Summit Fire Alarm Contract.
Yes, so this is a project that was, capital funds were earmarked for the current year, it just wasn't able to happen over the summer. So Jason has solicited bids for the Highgate Fire Alarm Project from Summit, MEI, and Vermont Electrical Contractors. We only received 2 bids, three did show up for the walkthrough, but we only received 2 bids. Summit Fire and Security at $112,000 and Vermont Electrical Contracting much higher at $296,500. We do have experience with Summit Fire and Security, and they are a reputable, company. MEI did not submit a bid. We do have documentation that Jason tried to reach out to them because they did attend the walkthrough multiple times, but that did not happen. So I'm looking for the board to approve the award of the Highgate Fire Alarm Project to Summit Fire and Security. And that is a variance from what we budgeted of $12,000, but we've been under in some of the other projects too slightly, so it's fine.
So is it in the budget we're using right now?
Right
Is the
now,
money
yes.
there?
Mhm.
And so we'll pay for it out of this year's money?
Yep, that's,
Good.
yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Don.
I believe in the email that we currently use them.
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Rennick, are you still with us? All right, I'm gonna do motion carries 8-0. Next is the EEI letter of intent for the Babcock project.
Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself and emailing Jason to let him know he can go ahead. That's how things work. So again, in the board drive, there is a letter of intent to move forward with EEI's purchasing of the Babcock Elementary HVAC and electrical renovation equipment. We had purchased some last year or financed some last year out of last year's funds, and now they're asking for an amount not to exceed $365,000 because there's a very long lead time on some of that equipment, and if we don't order it now, we won't have it. So I'm looking for board approval of that. The entire contract cost is approximately $5.5 million.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Elaine.
So Laura, what is this, like, we're leasing this, right? Is this a lease project?
Yes.
So how, I guess I'm just trying to understand what.
So with a lease, with municipal leases, we can actually purchase, we basically have 6 months to kind of reconcile with the lease mechanism. So it's fine for us to pay for equipment now. We will seek the lease, which we already know, we're already starting that process. We already know how that's going to work and the rates, estimated rates and everything. But then we have up to 6 months where we can pay expenses and then we can use the lease to pay ourselves back. It's a little atypical. It's not like a normal lease that one of us would enter into, but that's allowed in municipal leasing.
And no punishment.
No punishment, no. And actually rates are coming down, so I talked to the MLC, the leasing company, a couple of times last week, and they're encouraging us to, right now, as it stands, wait as long as possible, as close to the summer as we can. And we can cash flow this fine right now because we still have the invested funds in from our line of credit.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 8-0. next agenda item is parent request to stay enrolled.
So we, just forwarded me an email from a parent. They are moving out of Swanton. I believe they're gonna close on April 1st. And their request is for their 2 children to continue here in Swanton after that time. They're still enrolled residents now. I support it, the administration supports it, would like for them to be able to stay for the rest of the year.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Megan. Anybody have any questions?
So at the end of the year, they'll join whatever,
Yes, they'll go to their new district of residency.
Julie, did you say the grade level?
I did not, 2nd grade and a preschooler.
Okay. Not that it makes any difference, but
Great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 8-0. Future agenda items, board reorganization, Highgate board member interviews and appointment, legislative updates, rural school community alliance. So we will be sending a email to the 2 letters of interest for Highgate, which would be Tracy and Devin, to join us at the next meeting, or join you guys at the next meeting. Future board meeting is Tuesday, March 11th at 6 p.m. at VMU Library. And then we need, next agenda item is approval of the 2025 through 27 MVSD professional collective bargaining agreement action finding for executive session. If I can get a motion to find that for executive
Motion
session.
for finding for executive session.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Pierrette. Thank you, Peter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 9-0. The next agenda item is possible executive session for the purpose of discussing the confidential tentative negotiated agreement with the MVSD teachers. Can I get that?
So moved.
Thank you, Pierrette.
I'll second.
Thank you, Stephanie. All those in favor?
Aye.
We need to invite.
And like to
Invite in Julie and Laura and Bonnie,
Yep.
Lauren Bonnie.
Okay.
if that's all right with you all.
And that motion carried 9-0, because Reddick.
Sorry.
And Rennick, what's your pleasure? Do you want to stay on my laptop for this portion of the meeting?
Okay.
Yep.
Was that
Yep.
yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to back of this in.
I'm looking in the wrong place.
So, yep.
So now we're in executive session.